out what it's worth. Visit CoventryDirect.com to find out if your policy qualifies or call 1-800-482-7100. Coventry Direct, redefining insurance.
The tools of a RE/MAX agent. The flying camera. The mobile app. The automated alert. The experience, the tools, the know-how. That's the sign of a RE/MAX agent.
Newsflash, people are different. Introducing new personal plans from Nutrisystem. It's triple match to your goals, your body type, and your food preferences. Plus, the food comes right to your door. Doesn't get any simpler than that. With a plan designed for you, lose up to 18 pounds and 10 inches overall in your first 2 months, money back guaranteed.
Plus, order right now to get our special buy one, get one offer. Buy 1 month of Nutrisystem, get your second month absolutely free. Enjoy the foods you love, perfectly balanced to put your body in fat-burning mode.
I lost 83 pounds on Nutrisystem.
I lost 26 pounds with Nutrisystem.
Count points, pay for an app, get a psychology lesson? Not with Nutrisystem.
Act now and get a week of protein-packed probiotic shakes free.
Lose weight and learn to keep it off with the new personal plans from Nutrisystem.
Go online or call 888-873-THIN right now to buy one, get 1 month free. Offer ends November 1st.
It's chicken and waffles basket time at DQ.
Chicken strips,
Belgian waffles,
syrup,
fries,
savory,
sweet.
My lady,
my man,
your daughter.
Oh, I love our daughter.
DQ, happy tastes good.
4 top designers, 4 suburban homes, 1 champion. The Renovation Showdown is on Rock the Block. Series premiere Monday, October 21st at 9 on HGTV and HGTV Go.
There's fire actually coming through the manholes at Porter Ranch up at the Ralphs up here. That's pretty crazy. I've never seen that before.
And check out this intense video out of California. It shows the moment smoke and flames poured out of the sewer. The underground inferno was spotted outside of Los Angeles and Porter Ranch on Friday. All right, let's get a look here. Thanks for joining us on Weather Center Live this Monday afternoon. Whether you're on the West Coast or on the East Coast, we've got a look at all the weather stories impacting your week ahead. And we've got some big weather players. It's the season of cold fronts here moving forward. And we'll switch over to Max 45 and show you what we've got going on. The wet weather across parts of the Mid-South. This is good news, believe it or not, because it's been so dry. So we'll talk about what this means to the drought relief. Some areas can expect over 2 to 3 inches as we go through the first half of the week. The rain also spreading northward. We'll see it from the Ohio River Valley getting into the northeast. This also will impact your travel plans. We'll talk about what that means for airport issues. And then a big storm system set to push back into the northwest. This will be our cross-country storm over the next several days, but starting here in the Pacific Northwest with several inches of rain, some cases a half foot or more out towards the coastal areas of Oregon and Washington, the Olympic Peninsula. And then we get high mountain snow as you go up in elevation from Washington, Oregon, and Idaho and the Northern Rockies. But let's start with the midweek mess because it's not going to be an all-week event, but there are going to be some days you might want to plan accordingly.
Yeah, and I think those are coming very, very soon.
Yeah, they're coming quickly.
All right, let's take a look. We've got this area of low pressure that is going to be drawing up moisture from the south, and that's going to be affecting the Great Lakes region, much of the Midwest, the northern plains once again. This Gulf moisture stream means showers and thunderstorms, but we also have some colder air coming on the backside of that area of low pressure. So that cooler air filtering southward. Does this look a little familiar to those of you in North Dakota, northern Minnesota? I think we might see at least a little bit of wintry weather, nothing like the near blizzard and blizzard conditions that we saw in the Dakotas last week, but a wintry mix, okay? Snow, maybe some freezing rain or sleet, showers and storms ahead of that front, and that jet stream dip, that jet stream coming farther toward the south is going to aid and abet the moisture and really get it lifted up into the atmosphere. So we're going to find more rain coming through the Midwest into the Northeast here midweek. One area of low pressure making its way up into Canada, another one forming right on the coast. And that coastal low developing is going to mean rain and wind will be enhanced into portions of New England around that area of low pressure. So here's the forecast tomorrow. There's that wintry side to it all. And then this pushes eastward, affecting a lot of areas around the plains into the Midwest, Louisville, Charleston, West Virginia, up into the Pittsburgh area, Detroit, Marquette, Michigan. Yeah, you're going to see some of that wet weather too. And then that will be making its way northward on into Wednesday. More showers of rain coming into New York and into Boston as we head into Wednesday night. As a matter of fact, all of New England will begin to feel the effects of this system moving in Wednesday night and on into Thursday as well, lingering here around the northernmost areas. Chris?
Well, turning now to weather-making headlines, we want to begin in Japan, where rescue crews are braving very high water after Typhoon Hagibis. Now, there are reports that nearly 3 feet of rain fell in some places near Tokyo. Officials say at least 55 people died in the typhoon, and it's feared that number could rise as waters recede. 16 people are still missing, and at least 100 others were hurt. Now to California, where it was a close call for fire crews after flames from the Saddle Ridge fire sent them running. Surveillance video captured the moment wind shifted, causing a wall of fire to quickly move toward a home in Los Angeles yesterday. The homeowner says he evacuated thinking he wouldn't have a home to return to, but fortunately his home was spared. And skiers in Colorado celebrated the earliest opening for Keystone Resort in more than 20 years. The kickoff happened Saturday, and as you can see, winter enthusiasts wasted no time hitting the slopes. First winter storm of the season coated the slopes with powder, and on Friday as well, Arapahoe Basin jumped the gun and opened its slopes for skiers as well.
I can't believe it.
What? That our new house is haunted by Casper the Friendly Ghost?
Hey, Jill. Hey, Kurt. Movies? I'll get snacks.
No, I can't believe how easy it was to save hundreds of dollars on our car insurance with Geico.
I got snacks. Ooh, I got popcorn. I got caramel corn. I got kettle corn. Right. Am I so too loud?
Believe it. Geico could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
The Home Depot's making it easy to turn your favorite moment into the perfect color to transform your room with the Project Color app. Explore the most popular colors and trending palettes to find yours. Then get everything you'll need, like Behr Ultra Interior, rated #1 in customer satisfaction by J.D. Power. Now just $29.98 at the Home Depot. More saving, more doing.
My new job has everything, except for vision benefits, but that's okay. A VSP individual vision plan is comparable to the coverage that I had at my last job, but I can get it on my own, which means the next business day after enrolling, I'm back to seeing clearly. It starts with a comprehensive eye exam from a VSP network doctor, followed up by savings on quality frames and lens enhancements. Find your plan today and get an extra $20 to spend on featured frame brands at VSPdirect.com.
Paid spokesperson.
Have you or a loved one had hernia mesh implanted specifically for hernia repair and had serious complications, including infection, wound reopening, chronic pain, bowel obstruction, or had revision or repair surgery? You may have been a victim of a product that was defectively designed, and you may be entitled to compensation. Hernia repair surgeries are one of the most common surgeries performed in the United States, with over 500,000 surgical procedures annually. Recent studies have found higher rates of hernias reopening when hernia mesh has been implanted. If you or a loved one had hernia mesh implanted specifically for hernia repair and have experienced serious complications, including infection, wound reopening, chronic pain, bowel obstruction, or you later required revision or repair surgery, you may be entitled to compensation. How do you protect your rights and fight for the compensation you deserve? You choose the right legal team that has the experience, support staff, and resources to get you the most compensation for your injuries. Call for a free case review.
There are those who put on sunblock to prevent sun damage, and those who don't. There are those who take Beano before they eat to prevent discomfort, and those who don't. Don't be those who don't. Take Beano Ultra with 33% more gas and discomfort preventing power.
I know people love the dish remote. It's great. So why build in the Google Assistant? I mean, who really needs a TV remote that can turn the thermostat up,
Change temperature to 72.
the lights down,
Dim the lights.
and still access their DVR?
Play Rio.
Actually, some people could absolutely use a remote like that. The new Dish Voice Remote. Dish, tuned in to you.
My turn.
It shows up at the end of the year.
Coffee Mate seasonal flavors.
It really makes the season.
Oh, peppermint mocha?
It's related to nature.
Pumpkin spice? It's gonna be a while.
Yeah.
Try Coffee Mate seasonal flavors. Coffee's perfect holiday mate.
Well, that's the sound residents of Queensland, Australia really wanted to hear. It's rain, and it fell late last week in the drought-stricken region.
Yeah, music to their ears. Rivers and creeks had been running dry. Farmers having trouble getting water for their thirsty livestock. It was actually the first rain in months in the region. And here at home, there is a region that desperately needs some rain too.
Yeah, very similar to Australia. In some cases, more than 45 million people across 14 southern states are now in the midst of what's being called a flash drought. The Weather Channel's Robert Ray takes us to Georgia, where the soil is cracking, ponds are drying up, and farmers are hoping for rain.
But it's a challenge now. If you'll notice, it's just powder dry.
Not what a middle Georgia peanut farmer wants to see in October.
We're in the middle of harvest, so we need some dryness, but we also need some moisture so we can get some of the peanuts out of the ground.
Record-breaking high temperatures and only a trace of rain for nearly 2 months has created flash drought conditions across the southeast.
I mean, our leaves don't fall here till about Thanksgiving, but it's so dry that the leaves are falling now, and the nuts are still in the trees.
Third-generation farmer Donald Chase has pecan trees that are stressed and peanuts that did not make it this year. He's worried about the potential for more extreme weather over the winter.
Is this climate change, or is it something else? Is it cyclical? We really don't know, but I think that we all know that something's going on.
It's going to fall on the ground, and it'll be there till it rots.
Georgia cotton farmer Matt Oliver's assessment of his product is not good. These fields needed rain over a month ago. Now it's too late.
There's no coming back from. The crop's done. It would help to get a rain to dig them. You know, we wouldn't have to water. We could save that money and not have to water. But as far as this cotton, story's told, it's done.
All you have to do is take one look at any lake, river, or stream in the southeast, and you realize that the water levels are significantly down.
The fact that we're seeing more frequent droughts, I think, is a sign that as the temperatures go up, we're going to see more water stress. And that even if we get rainfall, if the temperatures are high, the evaporation rates are just huge.
It's new territory we haven't been in before, I think. And so we're hoping that perhaps a rain will materialize in the next week or so we can get to work preparing for next year.
Without it, these family farmers will be forced to make tough decisions as they move on from this year's harvest to next year's planting season. Robert Ray, The Weather Channel.
And especially as you look at the month of September as a whole, that's when we really saw this drought take hold, especially across parts of the South. Look at since September 1st, just the rainfall that we have seen, in some cases less than an inch, which is pretty unprecedented here in the South, when we typically get, you can get an inch in 10, 15 minutes in those typical summertime thunderstorms. That was not the case in Atlanta, Montgomery, Alabama. That puts us 5 or more inches below for where we should be just since September 1st. Only only, a little over 1.5 inches in Jackson, Mississippi, and Tupelo, a little over 2 inches, but still running well below your departures. Pensacola, this has been the driest fall on record. In Atlanta, our number 8th driest fall with only about less than 1 inch of rain so far. Number 5 in Charlotte and number 3 here in Macon, Georgia. And unfortunately, that drought is severe from the Florida Panhandle through Alabama, Georgia, and even into the Carolinas. But there is some relief, and in some cases, we may make up for that lost deficit in the next few days, Nick.
Well, we're keeping our fingers crossed. We certainly will. And we could see some heavy rain in some cases. And we've got plentiful moisture coming into play here. It certainly came into play in South Carolina's coast this morning. Some drought-stricken places saw rain here. And other areas are going to see more, including Alabama and Georgia. And, we saw some of that over the weekend in those areas. More's on the way. And we've got a couple of areas where we're looking for that rain to come from the tropics. Tropical moisture all the way from the Pacific coming into play here, as well as from the traditional moisture we get from the Gulf of Mexico. All of this working together, along with that sagging in the jet stream, moisture being lifted along the front, so showers and storms are going to be likely throughout this area here. We'll see it in Louisiana, Arkansas, Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia, and the Carolinas. More storms ahead and along that cold front could mean, well, the possibility, maybe even some flash flooding. We get too much of this at once. 2 to 3 inches over an area right there down the middle, but at least 1 inch, we think, in many of these areas. Here's what the radar is going to look like in the coming days as we head through the day tomorrow. A whole lot more of this coming across Mississippi, Alabama, and into Georgia by afternoon. Then into the evening hours, we'll begin to see the Carolinas get a taste of it, and more for everyone on through midweek.
That has me feeling super healthy with salmon, cranberries. Oh, but we are not done yet. Here comes Superfood Wet with beef, salmon, and pumpkin. It's like a superfood sundae on a Monday.
Beneful Superfood Blend dry and wet recipes.
When you're looking for answers, it's good to have help, because the right information at the right time may make all the difference. At Humana, we know that's especially true when you're looking for a Medicare supplement insurance plan. That's why we're offering 7 things every Medicare supplement should have. It's yours free, just for calling the number on your screen. And when you call, a knowledgeable licensed agent producer can answer any questions you have and help you choose the plan that's right for you. The call is free, and there's no obligation. You see, Medicare covers only about 80% of your Part B medical expenses. The rest is up to you. That's why so many people purchase Medicare supplement insurance plans like those offered by Humana. They're designed to help you save money and pay emergency care and more. You can keep the doctors you have now, ones you know and trust, with no referrals needed. Plus, you can get medical care anywhere in the country, even when you're traveling. With Humana, you get a competitive monthly premium and personalized service from a healthcare partner working to make healthcare simpler and easier for you. You can choose from a wide range of standardized plans. Each one is designed to work seamlessly with Medicare and help save you money. So how do you find the plan that's right for you? One that fits your needs and your budget. Call Humana now at the number on your screen for this free guide. It's just one of the ways that Humana is making healthcare simpler. And when you call, a knowledgeable licensed agent producer can answer any questions you have and help you choose the plan that's right for you. The call is free, and there's no obligation. You know Medicare won't cover all your medical costs, so call now and see why a Medicare supplement plan from a company like Humana just might be the answer.
Alexa, tell me about Neptune's Sorrow by Olivia Watson.
It's a masterstroke of heartache, brutality, and redemption.
The mist crept into the pivot hole beside her. David, what did you think of the book?
It's a masterstroke of heartache, brutality, and redemption.
You didn't read it, did you?
I didn't, but I will.
The Lexus NX, modern utility for modern obstacles.
Lease the 2020 NX 300 for $349 a month for 36 months.
Experience amazing at your Lexus dealer.
Attention Roundup users. Are you an agricultural worker, farm worker, nursery worker, landscaper, or local highway worker or groundskeeper who has regularly used the weed killer Roundup? If so, have you ever developed cancer or non-Hodgkin's lymphoma? If you answered yes, you may be entitled to substantial financial compensation without going to court. In August of 2018, a jury ordered Monsanto, the makers of Roundup, to pay $289 million when a groundskeeper developed non-Hodgkin's lymphoma after using Roundup. Agricultural workers, farm workers, nursery workers, landscapers, local highway workers, or groundskeepers who have regularly used the weed killer Roundup may be at risk for developing certain types of cancer. If you or a loved one developed cancer after using Roundup, you may be eligible for substantial financial compensation without going to court. Call the Negligence Network at 800-600-4113 for a free Roundup case evaluation. That's 800-600-4113. 800-600-4113.
Stream your news just like everything else you love with Local Now. It's completely free and ready to go when and where you are. Local Now. Find it in your favorite app store.
Hey, they're coming up at the top of the hour. Weather Underground. We're going to be talking about this week's storm in the Northeast, why this one could be a more potent and thus more impactful storm than last week's Melissa. We're going to break it down for you.
Then on the opposite coast, we head to California, where this time of year wildfires have been raging. But we're going to break down the different factors of Southern California, why it makes it the most unique place in America for fires in the fall. It's all at the top of the hour on Weather Underground.
Well, we've been talking about some real progress to report on the Sandalwood fire. This one in California that started late last week. The 1,000-acre fire is now 94% contained. Great news there. And one big reason why is because of the absence of what you're about to hear.
Okay, we're gonna get back. Gotta get back.
Winds so fierce they actually pushed the Saddle Ridge fire close to a fire truck. That's just one of the challenges crews face as they try to douse the 7,900-acre fire. Now, our Dave Malkoff spent the weekend on the fire lines in California.
And he shows us the conditions that fueled this latest firestorm.
It was an intense firefight in front of a captive audience, high flames slowing traffic on a major interstate. But come a little closer and you'll see this is much more complicated than your standard roadside grass fire.
From what they've told me, this mountain hasn't burned in 30 years.
These fires are always driven by Santa Ana winds, low humidity, and all of this dry brush around us. But this is one thing firefighters don't usually run into. This is a business that sells mulch, very, very dry mulch. Look at this. This is just fuel for the fire.
You know, this mulch yard here, Foothill Soils, we've been watching it for the last couple days, so we're just supporting these guys here. But it has now lit. It's just so dry.
Rich Dimitri owns the horse farm next door. The animals have left and they are safe, but he's still here with a garden hose.
It's just not a lot of pressure, but, you know, helps a little bit. Those are the guys doing all the work.
18 firefighting helicopters were flying back and forth between a water reservoir and the flames over the weekend. Dozens of homes have burned in the deadly Saddle Ridge fire north of Los Angeles.
Arson investigators are a long way from determining the cause of this fire, but look at this. These are several airdrops happening right on top of these high voltage power lines. Each drop, 2,500 gallons of water.
We are aware of a story out there in the media of a witness seeing fire fall from a transmission tower. Our arson investigators have interviewed, we believe, that witness.
They're at the point of origin and they're doing their business of evidence collection, talking to witnesses.
Another challenge is the terrain. It is high and dry.
Look on the ground. This fine silt turns into powder.
These men and women from U.S. Forest Service are busy with hoses, trying to stop the burn long before it gets to where people live and work.
If we didn't have these guys today, the whole farm would have been lost, for sure. Great job from everybody.
Can't say enough. Great job there, firefighters. And we are getting some help from the weather as far as improving conditions. It was a short-lived event, thankfully. Unfortunately, still enough to cause widespread wildfires here and destructive ones that have ruined homes and businesses. The most imminent is the Saddle Ridge fire. That's been the most destructive, unfortunately, deadly as well. 43% contained at this hour, burning just about 8,000 acres. So we're getting close to halfway contained. Winds, thankfully, are on the light side. We're seeing more of that onshore push, which is also increasing the humidity values. So that's great news here, Nick, as far as the humidity percentages go. Starting to see them dip down now that we're getting into the hottest part of the day.
But fire season's still very much alive, as is our hurricane season, too. We have a lot of things that we're watching on the map here, some close to home here around Central America that could bring moisture up into the Gulf of Mexico, post-tropical storm Melissa, and a brand new tropical depression 15. This has moved off of Africa, and the National Hurricane Center has declared this now a tropical depression 15. 35-mile-per-hour winds in the center, the central pressure 1,006 millibars. It's moving toward the northwest at about 8 miles per hour, and this movement would take it up toward the Cabo Verde Islands and continue off toward the northwest, and then eventually making a westward turn. So a lot of things to watch and a lot of time to watch this over the next several days. It could become a tropical storm, and if it does, it will get the end name. Nestor is the next name in line here. So we'll watch and see if this becomes a named storm. We have Melissa, or what's left of Melissa, really. The National Hurricane Center no longer issuing advisories on it. This was the big nor'easter that made all of the impacts on New England last week, the wind and the waves and the rain and the coastal flooding. And then we have this other area that is being given a 20% chance of development as it moves northwestward over the next 5 days. We could see it develop into a tropical depression or tropical storm as well.
As a struggling actor, I need all the breaks I can get. Line.
Liberty Mutual customizes your car insurance so you only pay for what you need.
That's a lot of words. Only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
When new Starbucks creamer meets your morning coffee, your favorite Starbucks flavors come to life. Smooth, bold, creamy. Inspired by the Starbucks caramel macchiato you love. Mornings just got better. This changes everything. New Starbucks creamer, now at home.
Boo!
I'm sorry for what I did to your face.
All good. Have a break. Have a break. Have a Kit Kat.
Constipated? Set yourself free with Fleet. Gentle constipation relief in minutes. Little Fleet, big relief. Try it. Feel it. Feel that Fleet feeling.
My dental problems started as a child. Had a lot of cavities, root canals. Eating anything cold, it would hurt so bad. With dentures, they never fit properly. My confidence was really down. Always covering my face when I laughed. So I went in for a free consultation with Clear Choice.
People come in with bad teeth or no teeth, and in one day, leave with the smile that they are looking for.
The Clear Choice one-day approach is making dental implants a reality for people all over the country who suffer from missing or failing teeth.
They put these beautiful teeth in my mouth, and I can eat ice cream. I can eat corn on the cob now.
With over 30,000 new smiles across our network, we're lifting spirits and confidence all over America. Schedule your free consultation today. We'll even talk about financing options.
I've never felt better than I do right now. It's the best thing I've ever done in my life for myself. Everybody tells me, you look 10 years younger. Thank you, Clear Choice.
Call Clear Choice today.
When did it become okay for men to be lazier, softer, weaker? Get Ageless Male with ingredients that promote free testosterone, muscle size with workouts, and your libido. Get back to greatness with Ageless Male.
At Domino's, a delivery gone wrong doesn't just hurt your pizza night.
It hurts our pride. We're going to be expediting this order.
It could be a missing dipping sauce. It could be a wrong topping. It arrives cold.
With Domino's new delivery insurance, if your delivery isn't what you expected, make a claim and we'll make it right.
I noticed you had an issue with your last delivery.
To make up for it, I brought you a medium pizza.
Oh my gosh, thank you. You're welcome. Get 2 medium, 2 topping pizzas delivered for $5.99 each.
And put our delivery insurance to the test.
Swifty has big dreams.
Hot dog here, ready for action.
You are not a dog. You are a small Arctic fox. And on November 1st,
I'm here to destroy your town.
Yuck.
The planet made a poopy.
Surprise! He'll finally be top dog.
Tell me I can do this. There is no way you can do this.
Jeremy Renner, Heidi Klum, James Franco, John Cleese, Omar Sy with Angelica Houston, and Alec Baldwin.
Bada bing, bada boom, justice served.
Arctic Dogs. Rated PG. In theaters November 1st.
Coming up tonight on Weather Underground, welcome relief for millions.
Yeah, much needed rain on the way for the southeast. Unfortunately, it will come fast and furious for some. We'll show you the cities at greatest risk for flash floods tomorrow.
A nor'easter brought wind, rain, waves to the northeast coast last week. Why a brewing storm this week will likely be far more potent for tens of millions of people.
And firefighters battling raging wildfires in California. Coming up, we'll analyze why the Golden State is more vulnerable to these intense fires than other states.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for joining us tonight. This is Weather Underground. I'm Mike Bettis.
And I'm Alex Wilson. Right now, we have a country divided. And we're not talking about politics.
No, not at all. We're talking about the weather. This is the Weather Channel after all, right? On the West Coast, we are battling dry conditions, deadly wildfires. The 2 largest fires, the Sandalwood and Sandal Ridge fires combined, well, they've burned over 18,000 acres.
Yeah, meanwhile, across the east, it is the opposite. As we dry out from a recent nor'easter, another rain and windstorm is in the pipeline. So it could be a repeat situation for these folks.
All right, let's take you right now live to New Orleans and show you what's going on. It's been a cloudy day for us today. Temperatures are going to stay in check as a result of the clouds and the rain that we'll have. And there'll be some areas across the state that get some much needed rain. For some of you, I mean, literally the last month and a half has been bone dry. All right, let's take a look at it, show you what's happening right now. You can see the overall pattern is fairly gray for you right now. Plenty of rain north of I-10 right now, but Baton Rouge to Macomb to Hattiesburg over towards, say, Pensacola, we're in the rain scattered around for us in New Orleans. Heavier rain back between Alexandria and Jasper and places like Beaumont over towards, say, Lake Charles. You could be in for some heavier bouts of rain here, especially, again, just north of I-10. Take a look at some of the rain that we picked up since lunchtime today. 4.5 inches for us here in southeast Texas. 4.47 inches of rain measured thus far at a personal weather station there. So obviously it's coming down in bucketfuls when it's coming down for you here. It's not a particularly fast moving system either, but you take a look. St. Angela up toward Abilene, light showers for you right now. Just a little bit of light rain for you in Fort Worth and Dallas. We get a tough commute there. It's always busy for the drive home, but now we'll add in a little bit of rain, could make it tough. But you can see the overall pattern here brings in the heaviest rain across the southern states here. And that pattern is, for some of you, welcome because we've been through very, very dry conditions. Getting some of this rain is going to be welcome news. We've suffered through an incredibly hot September, an incredibly hot first half of October, and to go along with that, it was very, very dry. There's a look at the forecast through the evening across the Arklatex, then headed through Mississippi, then through Alabama, the Panhandle of Florida, all places getting wet, including Montgomery, where we've been very, very dry last couple of months. Then, once again, 5 o'clock in the morning, the Arklatex lit up again. What that means is, for some of you, your evening drive is wet, and also your morning drive is wet, Alex.
Know that the southeast needs the rain. So even though it will affect our commutes, that's kind of going to be a pain. But there is the possibility that some areas could deal with some flooding out of this.
Yeah, you want the rain, but you don't want too much of it, too fast, and for it to cause transportation problems, people get in trouble on the roads. But when you compare how much rain has not fallen in the period since September 1st to what we're about to get over the next day or two, it's dramatic. less than an inch, less than a half an inch, less than a quarter an inch in many places here in the southeast since September 1st. Pensacola, a tenth of an inch in the last 6 weeks or so. Look at this area that could get 2 to 3 inches of rain between now and Wednesday. You could get a whole month of rain that you got in September in just a couple of days. So that's good news. This is a frontal system draped across the southeast right now. It's weak. A lot of jet stream activity. East Pacific moisture making its way into the tropics are contributing there. And on the visible imagery, you can see how it is a diffuse convective structure right now. And as much rain as Mike has shown that has already fallen today, we're going to get a lot more tomorrow. So here's the future radar picking it up tomorrow morning. And then watch how we get a lot of training thunderstorms and showers moving from west to east over the same areas that have gotten rain today. And then some new areas all the way over into Charleston, South Carolina by tomorrow night. So this is the axis all the way from Shreveport through Montgomery that's been bone dry, Macon, and getting over to Charleston, although south of Atlanta and north of Pensacola. This is the axis where we could get some localized flash flooding. And part of the problem with it having been so dry is a lot of this will run off pretty quickly in some spots, and especially in the urbanized areas, you could get some flooding. So here's the moisture in the atmosphere today, and you'll see that it's not a whole lot different when we go to this time tomorrow. It's just that it expands a little bit farther into Georgia and South Carolina. But unfortunately, Alex, this is going to be short-lived. By late Wednesday, that front that's going to produce our nor'easter is going to push that moisture back out. But maybe by this weekend, we get another round into the southeast.
Yeah, I'm seeing that sneak in as we get into Saturday and Sunday. Let's talk about that other nor'easter that Dr. Knapp just mentioned. You're looking at the scenes from Melissa. This was just a few days ago. The Northeast got battered by its first nor'easter of the season. It was subtropical storm Melissa strengthening out over the Atlantic, and up and down the coast there were huge waves, blustery conditions, and coastal flooding. And then we remember Melissa actually turned tropical for a moment into the weekend. At this point, we're looking at another round of a system. You can see we've got an area of low pressure hanging out over the coast, but this dip in the jet stream across parts of Montana right now is what we're watching for the next system, our next northeast wind and rain event. It's tracking east through the early part of the week. We've got that Gulf of Mexico moisture stream coming up into the middle of the country. So parts of the Midwest will also see some rain, some cooler air filtering south. So we'll see those temperatures drop and could even get a wintry mix in that colder air. So don't be surprised if you get a little rain snow mix up there into parts of the Dakotas, parts of Minnesota. Our dip in the jet stream will increase the surface lift too. So expect clouds, rain showers, and as this coastal low develops for the middle of the week, we'll expect to see those winds also ramping up. So as we get a coastal low strengthening, deepening, we'll see those winds really start to wrap up, and that could have effects, say, along the coast or on the coast at the airports. 95 Corridor, Boston, New York, all those places could have problems. So Wednesday will be when we first start to see the rain moving through a lot of the Northeast and Mid-Atlantic. But by Wednesday night and Thursday, that's when I expect to really have things cranking in terms of the wind along the Northeast coast and some rain showers still lingering into, say, Pittsburgh, Erie, Buffalo, but it will be into the Northeast mainly for your Thursday where the rain really persists. Rainfall totals, higher amounts closer to the coast. There we could see 2 to 3 inch totals for a place like New York or Philly, 1 to 2 inches for a place like Pittsburgh or Charleston, West Virginia, even around Baltimore and D.C., thinking an inch or less. Possibility of some flash flooding as you go from Philly up the 95 corridor into areas north of Boston, right around the Maine state line. Mike, you got to talk about that wind, though, because we think the wind is really going to be ramping up.
Big time. You remember a couple of years ago, Alex, that meteorologists were being made fun of because they thought we were making up the term bomb cyclone
and bombogenesis. Well, we're not, okay?
We've got tough skin, though.
Yeah.
That could be happening again. Bombogenesis, if you will. Basically, the genesis is the birth of a meteorological bomb, all right? This is when you have a rapid cyclone intensification. It's a central pressure drop of at least 24 millibars in 24 hours. So our next northeast coastal storm could actually meet bombogenesis criteria. There, Tuesday, tomorrow night, we've got a low sitting over Lake Michigan, but watch what happens here. You're going to get a little bit of energy from this. This is Wednesday morning. Now notice we've got another low pressure here developing in the southeast. Then once it gets off the coast here, it really bombs out, really intensifies down to 971 millibars. So you've got almost a 40 millibar drop. That's really incredible stuff here. And there's where it sits according to the GFS model. So location, certainly it will matter, but where it is, remember where Melissa was? Melissa was way down here. This is a little bit closer, which means more of us feel the effects of it. More people feel wind, more people feel the rain. Let's show you the wind field here. Intense winds, plenty of gusty conditions across the Great Lakes and the Ohio Valley. But then as we go into Thursday morning, look how intense the winds are coming onshore from our coastal storm here, and it stays windy all day long on Thursday, starts to back off on Friday. But here we go again, Alex. Second coastal storm in a matter of a week's time.
And remember when I said that things could be problematic at the airports?
Yeah.
There's the proof. Look at our Wednesday forecast. Oh, looks like a real bummer. Now, hopefully, given that today's the holiday, today's Columbus Day, maybe a lot of you will be headed back on Tuesday, maybe ahead of Wednesday. By the way, between today, even tomorrow, New York City, Boston, spectacular. New York City right now, you look like a postcard. Boston, I'd like to, work with a few of those clouds, but still looking really, really good. But my goodness, 65 in New York, 61 in Boston, sunny, easy, right? If you're traveling Wednesday, not so easy. Not so easy on the roads, not so easy using mass transit, and not so easy at the airports either. We expect big problems at the D.C. airports, at Baltimore, at Philly, at the New York City airports, and Boston. I think as we get into the later part of Wednesday, we could start to see problems. By the way, Pittsburgh, Buffalo, Syracuse, I'd expect trouble there on Wednesday as well. As you get into Thursday, that's the day, as I mentioned, things are really going to ramp up and get problematic for the New England airports. So Burlington and Portland and Boston, and I think we still could see some trouble. Despite the fact that we won't have as much rain, we'll still have winds for the New York City, Philly, and Baltimore airports. So we still could see slowdowns there. Syracuse, I think it's a 1-2 punch of not great airport delay situations both Wednesday and Thursday. For Boston, Wednesday night, the rain and the wind really begin to move in, and Thursday is going to be a rainy, windy day with temps in the mid-50s. It's another one. Bettis, you were there last week. You would tell anybody, if you're looking to burn a few PTO days, that might be a good one.
I think you nailed it there. Wink, wink, she says.
I mean, if you got an extra, you got some days in the bank and you're in Boston.
Happen? Yeah. Like you got a few days, like anybody will use all these before the end of the year. I have to carry these over. I don't know, right?
Yeah, I mean, if I'm in Boston, I'm thinking Thursday might be, I'm just going to rest.
Yeah, rest day.
I'd like to take my days off when the weather's good so I can enjoy the good weather.
Do you really?
Yeah.
Did you like what was going on last week in the Northeast?
No.
No, nobody did. That was Melissa, and the remnants of that have moved off into the North Atlantic. So Melissa versus our next one, Dr. Nab. There are going to be similarities, there are going to be differences.
For some of you might feel like the weather's kind of similar, raw, windy, rainy in the 50s, but a lot more of you are going to think there's a lot of differences, and we're going to explain why. One of the main things that's going to be different is this next one's not going to get a tropical storm or subtropical storm name. This is going to be a completely non-tropical kind of event. So let's look at why. Okay, this is one of the things that's going to be different. And here, as Alex was showing, is the beginnings of this system coming in through the Dakotas, and it's coming in from the Great Lakes, and it is going to be instead of cutting off a deep trough over the Atlantic, it's going to be coming from land and kind of wrapping up over land, and you get a secondary spin, but it's onshore and it stays frontal, completely enveloped within the mid-latitude west.
It's not developing over water, it's developing over land.
Yeah,
it's not continental air mass.
Not going to have time to tap into warm waters and become hybrid. Now, stronger. This could deepen very quickly. This is the European model forecast for Thursday morning. Melissa was down here with a pressure in the 990s, near 1,000 millibars. This is a completely different
And the
beast.
center of it sitting right over Boston, where you might maximize the wind.
So a much bigger wind problem than Melissa was. Now, this is going to be faster moving. Remember how Melissa sat out there and parked it, and you guys had multiple days?
Days and days.
This is going to be in by the Wednesday evening commute and pretty much out by the time you get up for work on Friday morning in Boston. This is the Thursday evening commute. That's the last time it's going to be really bad.
Roughly day and a half or so?
Yeah, at worst. Yeah, so this is much quicker in and out than Melissa was. And as you mentioned, Mike, the track over land, now that's going to keep it from becoming subtropical, but this means a lot more people are going to get strong winds. Look at Thursday morning, how far inland those strong winds could extend.
And keep in mind here, almost all the trees still have leaves on them here, so you might catch a lot more wind. Possibility of tree damage and power outages will be there, Alex.
Absolutely. Well, Japan is recovering from Typhoon Hagibis. The powerful storm slammed into the central part of the country. This is near Tokyo. Over the weekend, some areas received 35 inches of rain. That led to, as you can imagine, severe flooding as many rivers overflowed their banks. At least 50 people were killed, and that number, unfortunately, could rise as the water recedes. It was the strongest typhoon to hit Japan in more than 60 years. And Dr. Knapp, we look at those aerial pictures, and we've seen scenes like that here in the U.S., and we know what flooding of that magnitude can do.
One language we can all speak when it comes to tropical weather around the world, it's all about the water, for the most part. That's what usually causes the most trouble. Now, we do have a lot going on in the Atlantic and Eastern Pacific basins right now. We do.
I think a lot of people kind of, if they were watching a little earlier today, were like, oh, there's a lot of circles on that map.
Yeah, and it's hurricane season is not over. And October can be really busy, and things can form in different parts of the basin all the way out to Africa. What do you know? A tropical depression. Now, this is a little farther south and east than we usually see a system form this time of year. To form right off the coast of Africa, pretty unusual in October. In fact, in the satellite era, hasn't happened in the second and third and fourth weeks of October before. So we've got Tropical Depression 15 now. It has formed, but it's got a short life ahead of it. Yes, it could bring some tropical storm conditions to the Cabo Verde Islands, but it is going to get